Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today, as a little switch up from my channel, we're going to do some little press on nail style nail art design rather than those long stiletto ones. So we've got a couple of art colours. We've got Love Winds and Pure Cloud. Along with that, we do also have this purpley shade, and this one's called Bluebell. We do have some stamping involved today. We've got some white and black stamping polish. That's all you need. So hopefully it's like a basic colour. So hopefully everybody has that in their collections. And I also have this Halloween collection plate number 15 from Moe in London. And it's such a fun plate. And I have to be honest, for a little while I was struggling to use it just because it's a plate of just kind of singular images, whereas other plates I've got, they might have a mix of like full cover, just singular images, some wording, and kind of when there's a variety like that, it's sometimes just easier to combine and create an actual design with those kind of images. But this one has images just on their own. It does follow the same theme, which is nice, but I just kind of struggled for a little while of how I can actually just use the one plate on its own to create a design, and I finally cracked the code, so we're going to do it on today's design. When it comes to our background colours, we've got two nails that are baby blue. We've got one nail that's an ombre that we're working on now. The thumb is going to be purple, and then the middle nail is going to be a marble look. I'm going to marble all three colours that we have going on today. So when it comes to this, I kind of like to start with the lightest first, and then I think I just kind of gradually go to the darkest, but I don't really think that there's really, I don't really think that it really matters which way you do it. Just whatever, grab a color and just start swirling it on your nail. At first it might look wild and it might look like not really much of anything, but the more you swirl around, the more you add extra colors, the more it's gonna look like a nice very detailed marble, should we say. I feel like obviously with this method you have so much more control over your brush and control over the colors that you're using, so you end up with a much more detailed and, in my opinion, nicer looking marble. Because trust me guys, the old way of doing it just would not work for me. I was having a lot of misses. Usually, there's a hit and miss, but for me it was mostly misses. It took me a lot of tries and a lot of wipes and a lot of just giving up on my marbles and just letting them be not too great most of the time. But this way it's just so great, so I highly recommend trying it out. Now that everything is cured, we have 2 layers applied, it's time for some French tips, of course. So we've got 2 French tips today. We are going to do the French tips on the baby blue nail. We're going to use the purple to do the French tip and to add an extra little touch of colour. So since we have the dark, it's not kind of dark, it's kind of neon-y, reddy pinky colour. Since we have that in the marble, we need to incorporate it somewhere else as well, just to kind of tie that colour in, otherwise it's going to stick out like a sore thumb. So to do that, I am going to use that reddy pinky colour to outline the smile line in just a second. So I'm about to finish working on my last French tip nail. We'll pop it into the lamp. I will go ahead and do another layer of this colour off camera just to help with the opacity and make it ready for our next stage. But once that's done, this bit is always a bit that I find the most trickiest, and I've been trying to push myself and do them more and more often. You might have noticed on my channel, because usually when things are hard, they're hard because you just haven't practiced it, and you just need to put in more work into it basically. So that's one of those for me. So I've been trying to add them here and there more and more just to get in the habit of doing them and stop being so threatened by it. But here it is. I am doing the smile line, and I'm really happy with how well I did this one, I have to admit, because usually it's absolutely horrendous. But basically you're just trying to outline the smile line with that Love Winds colour, and I am trying my hardest to maintain the same thickness all the way around, but it's just so hard. Like I personally struggle with this the most, so do what you can, and if you do end up making it thicker, obviously wipe away or just let it be a bit of a thicker line than you wanted it to be. For example, you have to remember that no one knows what it was meant to be. When they see the final result, as long as it looks nice, then no one's going to know that you wanted it thin or anything like that. So don't put too much pressure on yourself. Just do what you can. When you're happy with that, I then go in with some base coat on the thumb. It's going to be our one and only nail that's going to have some glitter, and I'm placing this baby bluey looking I think it's pretty matte hex mix. So I'm going to place it top left hand side and then bottom right hand side at an angle. And the blue very nicely matches up with the blue that we use on the background of the French tip nails, which is nice, and it kind of ties in all the colours together, which is always what I'm looking for. Experimenting with random colours is something a little bit out of my comfort zone, and I need to try it a bit more. I usually kind of stick to probably about max 3 to 4 colours, and most of the time they're all kind of in the same colour palette. So if I'm doing a purple design, I will stick to mainly purples. I don't really go out with that. So I do need to probably spend a bit more time challenging myself with colours that I maybe wouldn't, out of my comfort zone. So maybe, I don't know, pair of blue with a green with all sorts of different random colours and see what happens, rather than just sticking into that, one palette. Even today, it's mostly the same kind of colour span. Maybe that pinky colour's a bit out of the blue, but everything else kind of stays in that comfort zone, if that makes sense. Once I'm happy with how I've placed everything down, I am going to pop it into the lamp for a cure. Once that's cured, I will go ahead and apply another layer of base coat on top of that, just to help even out the nail and not have any lumps and bumps, because we will be stamping on top of that nail. Now that that's done, it's time for the stamping. So as you can see now, since you've got the palette in front of you, the palette itself has just random images, just, a random spider, flower, some sort of random stuff with a theme of having the skull as the faces of everything. So this flower, for example, is supposed to be like a spider, but instead of a spider, you've got a flower in the middle of the web, but it kind of has a skull on there too. So we're going to colour in the skulls with some white. And then once you colour it in, you then go ahead and stamp. But before you stamp, make sure you wait for the white stamping polish to be somewhat dry, not too, not too wet, so that you don't end up messing it up. Can't speak. Basically, so that you don't mess it up. Here it goes. So that goes down the center on the thumb. Next up, we have this. It's kind of like a skull flower, but we do have another version of that later. It's kind of like a flower that's missing the petals around the skull. So again, with the white, I'm just coloring in anything I can that it's like an outline. So here I am doing the leaves and the face of the skulls and everything. Just anything that has like an outline, I'm going to color it in. Now that one we're going to stamp on the French tip nails. Those are really, really cool looking, and you could really switch it up. And I feel like today's design could be switched up for anything really. So if you don't have the stamping plate, you could stamp anything down. It doesn't even have to be Halloween. It could be, for Valentine's. You could do a Valentine's set with this. Just switch up the color theme and then just stamp or put stickers down. That's going to be, up with what you're doing. And it worked pretty well, I think, anyways. So for example, if you were doing Valentine's, rather than doing maybe the blues, you might want to do a reddy pinky set and then stamp some hearts or some like cute envelopes or something, and you got yourself a cute little Valentine's set. So if you're ever also struggling with designs, don't restrict yourself to like what you've already done. I sometimes like to go back onto my own designs and get myself inspired with what I've done in the past. So let's say I'm in the Halloween time like now, and I might look back on my summer designs and then see how I can flip it around and get inspired with my own designs, and maybe switch up the colours, switch up the placement of some stamping, and make a whole new looking set, but inspired with my own set, which is really cool. So I've done that a couple of times now, and it does work. It really, really does. Even if it means you just replicate your own set, but just make it Halloween colours and just stamp some Halloweeny things down, it literally works. I've quite enjoyed it recently, actually. But here goes another flower with a skull, but this one actually has petals around it, so there goes that one. And then last but not least, we're going to do a spider with a little like eyeball on the like body part, which is funny looking. We're going to colour that in with the white as well. Then for some reason I don't have the footage of me actually stamping it down, but we are going to stamp it on the pinky. And then around the pinky we're also going to stamp some little stars that are also on this plate. So if you wanted to do it, everything you need is on this plate. Just a little disclaimer though, Moe London are discontinuing their stamping plates. So at the time of this recording, they do still have all this stuff on the website, and they just have a sale going on. So if you wanted to pick this one up, I would highly recommend do it now. Don't wait, don't later think, oh, I might get it later, because you most likely won't be able to. I have no idea how long they're going to have the sale on. I'm supposing it's going to be up until they just get rid of all the stock, but just in case, you don't want to miss out. So if you like it, go grab it real quick before it's all sold out, and we're all going to be really, really sad, because I pretty like this stuff, to be honest. Now at this stage, we're just doing a matte top coat on all those nails. Then last but not least, we're going to do the middle finger with some crystal placement. Just very simple 3AB crystals with a bow in the center. That's all we're doing, and all down like the center of the nail. Here it goes. The rhinestone glue gel I'm using today is from Macart. Once that's done, I try to straighten up as much as I can. That will go into the lamp for a cure. We will do some filing and all sorts to just make the shape crisp and ready to wear pretty much. And then here are the final results. I hope you guys liked it. If you did, please don't forget to like, comment and subscribe, and I would love to see you all in my next video. Bye guys.